Shivaya. I welcome you all with my love and respects. Today's subject is integrate and evolve. Shiva is taking us into the deeper layers day by day. Today he is taking us to a different dimension. Let's enter into the sutra. Navraje navischaktir marutrupa vikasite nirvigalpatayam madhye taya bhairavarupata. Navraje navischaktir marutrupa vikasite nirvigalpataya madhye taya bhairavarupata. The translation goes, the energy of breath should neither move out nor enter. When the center unfolds by the dissolution of thoughts, be unclutched, then you attain the nature of Bhairava. Then one attains the nature of Bhairava. Again, this is also technique related to breathing. Actually, first 9 techniques are related to breathing. First day itself I was explaining. Breathing is the right place to start. That is the right place to begin the spiritual practice. There are so many masters who try to work on the earth, all the religious techniques, the puja, yoga, all of them start with earth, the physical part. Then there are some techniques related to fire, homa, so many techniques to fall in tune with the fire. There are some techniques to fall in tune with ether, but the problem is, straight away when you try to fall in tune with ether, Akash energy, sometimes you are not so subtle, you will not be able to grasp it. Prana, the air is the right space, anybody can start from this space. Nobody will miss it. Straight away trying to work on the consciousness may not help all the individuals. Here Shiva is trying to work through the breath, through the prana. He is taking us to the same height. He is leading us to the same depth through proper method, through a proper channel, through a proper technique, by helping us to work on the breath. You are supposed to start where you are. You are supposed to start where you are. You can't start where you have to end. You are supposed to end in consciousness, but you can't start in consciousness because you are not there. If you are already there, why you need teaching? You don't need anything. You don't need meditation. Somebody goes to a great yogi and asks, Master, I want to learn meditation. Master says, no, no, first you have to master the yama, means you have to practice the yama, niyama. What is the yama, niyama? Be truthful, practice brahmacharya, don't steal others' things, live a non-violent life. You have to practice all these things, only then you can start meditation. Disciple asks, if I can do all these things, then why I need meditation? If I can do all these things already, then why I need meditation? You have to start where you are. You can't straight away think of the goal. Goal is truth, but you can't start with the goal. Here, Shiva is, of course, Shiva is practical person. I have read thousands of spiritual books. If at all I am asked to choose a single book among the 1,000, I will choose the Shiva Sutras only. It's a pure essence, and not only that, he is so practical. He is taking us to the same height, but step by step. He is beautifully leading us step by step to the highest truth. Today, he is opening up and declaring the highest truth, but not straight away, after preparing us. First, with the first 3 sutras, he has prepared us. Now he is opening up the truth. Navrajanna vischaktir marutrupa vikasite nirvigalpataya madhye taya bhairavarupata. The energy of breath should neither move out nor enter. When the energy unfolds by the dissolution of thoughts, be unclutched, then one attains the nature of Bhairava. As I was telling you the other day, scientist is a person who creates a formula to reproduce the understanding which happened to him. Master is a person who creates a formula to reproduce the experience which happened to him. Scientist is a person, he creates a formula to reproduce the intellectual understanding related to the outer world. For example, Newton, he saw the apple falling in his garden. Suddenly he had some understanding. He had the glimpse of truth. Why the apple should fall? If we saw, either would have picked up and eaten or forget about it. Why unnecessarily think about all those things? Why it falls? Why should it be attracted towards the earth? Anyhow, he had some understanding. Why it is falling? He had the glimpse of truth. He created the formula for us also to understand the truth. He created a formula to reproduce the same understanding which happened in him related to the outer world. Master is a person who creates formula, who creates a technology to reproduce the experience related to the inner world. Here, Shiva is just reproducing the technology to achieve the Bhairava consciousness, Shiva consciousness. He says, one attains the nature of Bhairava. He says, Bhairava Rupata, you achieve me. You achieve the same consciousness in which I am staying. You achieve the Shiva consciousness. You achieve the Bhairava consciousness. There are so many levels of experience. Salokya Mukti, Samipya Mukti, Sarupya Mukti, Sayujya Mukti. Salogya Mukti means you get to live around the master. It's like you stay in the same space where the master stays. I always tell people, it's like becoming ashramite. You live around me. That is a Salokya Mukti. You enter into his loka. You enter into his world. Salokya Mukti. So, lot of problems will be avoided because you don't have to think for your life. He will think for your life. So many things. Your responsibilities are taken by him. He takes care of you. He takes your responsibilities. The next level, Samibhya Mukti, living closely around him. I compare and tell people, crew members who always travel with me. The Samibhya Mukti, you are 24 hours around him. Third is Sarupya Mukti. Sarupya Mukti is like you take his own form. You are in that same form and do what he does. It's like becoming an acharya, teacher. You do the work of what I am doing. You become a teacher and start taking classes. It's like a Sarupya Mukti. That is why you can see in all the temples, the guardian deities, Dwara Balakas will be almost the same. Whatever that gods are carrying, the same weapons they will also be carrying. The guardians also will be carrying. If the god is wearing Nama, they will also be wearing Nama. The god is wearing the Kunkuma, the Dwarabalaks also will be wearing Kunkuma. It's like a Sarupya Mukti. They achieve the same Swarupa. They are in the same Rupa. Sarupya Mukti. The next, last and ultimate is Sayujya Mukti. You achieve his consciousness. You achieve his consciousness. You become him. You start staying in the same space where he is staying. You achieve the same consciousness. Shiva doesn't believe in other three levels of muktis. He doesn't believe in Salokya. He doesn't believe in Samibhya. He doesn't believe in Sarupya. Straight away, he takes us to Sayujya. He gives us the techniques to Sayujya. Beautifully he says, Bhairava Rupata. You achieve the same consciousness in which I am staying. You achieve the same space in which I exist. You achieve the Shiva consciousness. The energy of breath should neither move out nor enter. When the center unfolds by the dissolution of thoughts, be unclutched, then one attains the nature of Bhairava. The key in this whole sutra is be unclutched. Shiva straight away comes to the subject. But sometimes I don't go straight away into the subject because I need to prepare your mind. Shiva is speaking to Devi, but I am speaking to you. That is why I am not straight away entering into the subject. Our mind is too much bothered about matter. I have to, unless I prepare your mind, you don't start listening to the truth. It takes a lot of time for us to come and settle down into the hall itself. Be very clear. You may be sitting in the hall, but you have not settled down into the hall. You may be sitting in the hall. It takes at least 20 minutes for you to settle down in the hall. I have always seen. At least 20 minutes. That's why I am not entering into the sutras. I am just playing. Shiva is speaking to Devi. So he doesn't have to use more words. He doesn't need jokes. Throughout this book, not even a single joke. Not even a single small story. Because He is speaking to Devi. She is already completely settled. There is no need for any story. There is no need for any jokes. She is straight away concerned only about the essence. Actually, in our case, we are too much concerned about too many things and we miss the essence. We just miss the spirit. A small story. On UP, opened the door of his BMW. Suddenly another one car came and crashed. Door was completely thrown out. The UP started shouting. Police came and the UP started weeping. See what happened to my car. The officer saw the whole scene and he started shouting. You UPs, you guys don't care about your life and you bother only about your materialistic things. Don't you see your left hand is missing? Suddenly that guy saw the left hand and said, yes, 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 what happened to my Rolex watch? What happened to my Rolex watch? Again he is bothered only about the matter. Now we are too much engrossed in the matter. We forget the life itself. That's the reason I first try to settle down before entering into the sutras. If you miss the Rolex watch, it's okay, you can get it. But you can't get one more hand. If you miss the BMW, it's okay. But you can't get your life. If you miss the introduction, it's okay. But you can't miss the sutra itself. Straight away, if I start speaking on the sutra, you will miss the sutra. Because your mind takes a little time. Just the other day, one of our devotees, he was suggesting, Swamiji, you should start the silent satsangs. It is true. I can sit in silence, but you can't. If I sit in silence, you will start talking inside your head. Actually, I can convey much beautifully. The transmission of energy can happen if I am in silence. If I am sitting here in silence, much more can happen in you than through speaking. People ask me, Swamiji, I don't know English, can I attend your meditation programs? I tell them, only you are qualified to attend. Don't miss the chance. There are so many people come from France, who doesn't know English or who knows only Spanish. All these people, they come and ask me through translator. I don't understand English, can I attend your program? I tell them, you are the only person qualified. Don't miss that chance. Because to understand English, they think they understand, that's all. And they will be constantly trying to get the meaning out of the words which I am expressing. Let it be very clear, you can never understand anything because I myself don't understand. I know for sure I am not speaking what I want to speak. I am not expressing what I want to express. Because words are too small. Words are too small. You can't express through words. If you don't understand, at least you will be clear you are not understood. If you think you understood, really you are missing. But I can't be in silence. I can't be in silence. If I don't speak, you will start speaking in your head. At least you will be little silent if I start speaking. I am speaking so that you will be silent. If I am in silence, you will start speaking. That's the reason I don't do silent satsangs. Of course, the higher level, when people are really mature, I do sit with them. In teachers training, sometimes I sit with them even 10 hours, not even single words, not even a single word is shared. Not only no words are shared, nobody even bothers about talking. We had Nithyanandam program 15 days program. 18 hours per day people sat with me. Neither they felt they need to speak, nor I felt I need to tell anything. The deeper level, you will be able to sit silently. The initial level, you won't be able to sit. If I stop speaking, you will start speaking in your head. You may not speak with others, but you will start speaking with yourself. And it is better, even if you misunderstand, it's okay. At least in the end, I can give you a little clarity. One more small story. One lady was speaking to her neighbor, next door neighbor. She was saying, today I started my day beautifully. I really feel good. I gave $5 to a bum. Neighbor asked, $5? It's too much. Your husband didn't tell anything about it? What he said about it? Oh, he just said thanks and left. First, you may miss what I am saying. At least with the punchline, you may get what I want to express. With the first line, you may miss what I want to say. But with the punchline, you will catch what I want to express. That's the reason I am continuously speaking. All right, it is time. Let's enter into the sutra. I request all of you to be totally attentive. Please sit straight so that you won't miss. Here, Shiva is taking us word by word to the deepest experience. I tell you one thing. If you can be aware of next 1 hour, if you don't miss a single word, I promise there is every possibility of liberation. You don't need to practice this meditation, because this meditation doesn't need to be practiced. The very understanding, he leads you step by step into your core. Every word takes you to the next layer, and he is showing you the very nature of your being. The core of your being is trying to express it. And better if you don't close your eyes. Usually when you close your eyes, you may think you are listening, but slowly you will be lost. And moreover, I express more in body language than through words. So when you are listening to audio discourse, you can close your eyes. But when you are listening directly from the master, sit with full awareness. Navrajanna Vishaktir Marutrupa Vikasite Nirvigalpataya Madhye Taya Bhairava Rupata. Ramakrishna always says, whenever I go to an extreme, whenever I go to a level of expressing the truth, I feel suddenly somebody is catching my throat. Only to a certain extent I am able to express. After that I feel somebody is choking my throat. I am not able to say what I want to say. When I read this, I felt, how can this be true? Who can choke your throat? How can you say you are not able to express what you want to express? I didn't believe, but really now I am able to believe. Now I am able to experience what Ramakrishna means. There are some things, when you try to express it through, put it through words, so much comes up. big traffic jam happens. The traffic jam of the truth happens in your throat. Your walk loses the power to express. If there are one or two things to be expressed, then your walk is alive, active. You can express. But there are so many things just crowded. When the truth is overcrowded, when the traffic jam of truth happens, you really feel your walk is too small. Walk means the power to express. The ability to express is too small to tell the truth, to express it. To tell you honestly, really I am feeling that same thing now. The walk is too small. The power to express is too small to express this great truth which Shiva is expressing in this sutra. So I may try to express it inch by inch, layer by layer. Please be attentive for next 1 hour. It will lead you to the deepest experience of your being. And there is every possibility you will be liberated in this very moment. The energy of breath should neither move out nor enter. When the center unfolds by the dissolution of thoughts, be unclutched, then one attains the nature of Bhairava. Then one attains the Shiva consciousness. You don't even need to practice this technique. All you need to do is just be aware of this technique. There are some techniques which you need to learn and practice, experience. There are some techniques, the very understanding takes you to that level, takes you to that depth. Suddenly you see you are experiencing it. In Vedanta, 3 levels. The first, Shravana, means understanding the technique, listening about it. Manana, meditating on it, contemplating, practicing it. Nididhyasana, expressing the truth, expressing it. You need 3 steps: understanding, practicing, and expressing. Here, with this technique, you don't need the 3 steps. The very understanding simply liberates you, because it's taking us to such a deep level, to the depth of your being. Is showing us to the core. Is taking us to a different space, which I call Zen zone. Zen zone means the zone in which already you are liberated, the zone in which you are unclutched, the zone in which you exist as you are. He is taking us to the zone beautifully without any practice. As far as this technique concerned, the very understanding is enough. You will suddenly wake up. Yes, I am in that state. Nothing else needs to be done. He is taking us to that zone. The energy of breath should neither move out nor enter. Yesterday I was speaking, I was explaining. To be relaxed or to feel comfortable in the neutral space, we feel comfortable with incoming breath or outgoing breath. but we don't feel comfortable with the neutral space. That is why you just jump the neutral space. You don't give your attention to neutral space. So whenever the neutral space comes, you say quit and you jump. Whenever the neutral space comes, you do fast forwarding. You just fast forward it. Continuously you are fast forwarding the neutral space. When you sit and watch a movie, you don't like some scenes, you fast forward it. Just jump. Same way, whenever the neutral space comes, you jump, you fast forward. Yesterday I was asking you to feel little comfortable with the neutral space, in the neutral zone. Now he is taking us to a different depth. He says, you don't even have to feel comfortable with the neutral zone. Just understand you have a neutral zone. Be relaxed. Whether you want or not, you are going to have neutral zone. Even if you do fast forwarding, even if you fast forward, the neutral zone is your nature. Every moment, the neutral zone is going to happen in you. That space is happening in you. The neutral space is constantly happening in you. Even if you avoid, the neutral space is happening in you. He says, the energy of breath should neither move out nor enter. When the center unfolds by the dissolution of thoughts, be unclutched. Let me explain how your mind is moving, how you are thinking. First, all the three sutras, he spoke only about breath. He never used the word mind. First time he is bringing that word. First time Shiva is introducing. First time he is bringing the word mind. And first time he is uttering the word nirvigalpataya. Means be unclutched. The state in which you don't have any vigalpa. You don't connect and see. Vigalpa means connecting the kalpanas. Nirvigalpa means where you don't connect anything. Kalpa means itself connecting or imagining. Imagining is what is meant by the word kalpa. Here he says nirvigalpa, where you don't connect. You are unclutched. Let me just explain how you think you are thinking. Shiva is taking us a little further, so I am giving you the close-up view. This is what I call neutral space. Every moment, every kshana, again and again and again you experience this neutral space. Constantly it is happening in you. Whenever your incoming breath takes turn as outgoing breath, or outgoing breath takes turn as incoming breath. Every moment this neutral space is happening in you. Constantly you are changing the gear. Whenever you change a gear, you have to go to the neutral space. Constantly you are changing the gear. Let it be very clear, if you are constantly changing the gear, means constantly you are unclutched. Every moment you are unclutched. Now one more thing you need to understand. Yesterday I was telling you, because you don't feel comfortable with this space, you just fast forward, you jump from here to there. You do not give your attention to this space. You give attention to this space and this space, but not to the neutral space. You give attention to incoming breath, outgoing breath. You don't give attention to neutral space. You just jump. You fast forward, jump the neutral space. That is why you feel this gap is too small and this gap is more. That is why you feel the incoming breath time and outgoing breath time is more than neutral spaces. One important thing you should know, you may think the incoming breath time and the outgoing breath time is more than the neutral space, but in actuality they are not more. The time is same. You need to understand now about time. According to the Western mind, the time is chronological, means second. It is measured by second. According to Eastern mind, according to the, I can say, Eastern no mind, according to the rishis, time is psychological, it is not chronological. Kshana is not equivalent to a second. Please be very clear. In Vedic system, we measure time with the unit called Kshana. Kshana is not equivalent to time. Kshana is not equivalent to second. Kshana means gap between one thought and the other thought. Kshana means the gap between one thought and the other thought. Please understand, if you can follow, if you can come little deeply with this sutra, Shiva is straight away showing you the ultimate truth or your very nature. Shiva doesn't believe in changing your activities. He believes in changing your belief about yourself. He doesn't bother about your activities. Throughout this book, not even a single morality is given. He doesn't say speak truth. He doesn't say be non-violent. He doesn't say be a celibate. Nothing. He doesn't give a single morality. He doesn't give you a single instruction. He straight away shakes your core, changes your idea about yourself. The idea which you carry about yourself, he just shakes and changes it. Done, over. He doesn't believe in cutting the branches. He straight away removes the root. He is going to the root. Then naturally, morality will flower in you. That's why I say Shiva is the only solution for the modern day. He doesn't speak about anything. He never says what you should do or what you should not do. No rules. I tell you, all rules will make you schizophrenia. If you are interested in becoming schizophrenia, if you want bipolar disorder, start practicing some rules. Direct method to become a schizophrenia is start practicing some rules. With the rules, nothing can be done. With the truth, you don't need to do anything. Simply the whole thing will start expressing itself. Just it changes your idea about yourself. See, the moment your idea about yourself changes, you start existing in a different consciousness, altogether in a different space. Nothing needs to be done. You don't need to, no teachings are necessary to control you. All teachings are constables, cops who are sitting inside you. Teachings are nothing but cops who are sitting inside your brain. Here, there is no need to give you any teaching, just a single understanding. Just this single understanding is enough. Your idea about yourself will be completely changed. The moment your idea about you changes, no need for any morality, any teaching. You will simply start expressing the morality. You don't bother about anything else. If you are given morality, if you are given teachings, you will be constantly bothered about the other half. For example, if you are asked not to do something, you will be constantly thinking about that only. If you are a Swami, if you are Grihastha, means householder, constantly you will be fantasizing about sannyas life. What beautiful life you see, liberated life. See, he goes all over the world. People are just respecting him and he talks something, people listen, and you just fantasize about the other zone. If you are a Swami, then you are bothered about this life. I think I am missing something. What is going on, I don't know. In the life, both the side, you will be missing always about the other half. That's why I tell you, of course, Paramahamsa is not a Swami, be very clear. Paramahamsa is a person who has experienced the truth of his being, who is beyond the four ashramas, Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa. He is beyond all these four ashramas. He is called Paramahamsa. You will always be bothered about the other half. A small story. One 7-year-old boy was taken to a psychiatrist because he is not eating. Doctor made him to sit, and after 1 hour slowly he said, whatever you want, you can eat. Please start eating something. Ask something. The boy said, I want to eat worms. He ordered for a plate of worms. Some of the worms were brought. He said, no, I want only one. Finally, the doctor asked to remove everything else and only one was there. The boy started shouting, no, make it as half. It was made half. Then boy started telling, no, you eat the half. You eat half, only then I will eat. Finally, somehow doctor, he has to do something and he somehow swallowed the half. Then the boy started crying, oh, you ate my half. Be very clear. If you are stuck with rules, you will be bothering always about the other half. You will be bothering the other half. You will be missing the other half. Here, Shiva is not giving you any rules. He is just taking you step by step to the core of your being and gives you the clarity. You are not what you think. You are not what you are thinking as you. Be very clear. Kshana means the gap between one thought and the other thought. It is not second. So, now you need to understand the circle. This is the NS, neutral space. Nithyananda Swami. This is the NS, neutral space. This is the incoming breath. This is the outgoing breath. For you to understand, I expressed this as more space and this as less space. But Shiva says, this is equivalent to this. Because the gap between one thought and the other thought is kshana. Gap between this thought and this thought is what he calls as kshana. And he says further, whether you give your attention or not, this space and this space, the NS, the neutral space and the incoming breath, both spaces are equal. But we think this is more. Because we give too much of attention to it. Even if you give too much of attention to it, this is not more. Let me give you one small example. If you are sitting with somebody with whom you feel completely comfortable, in tune, you are just relaxed, even if 2-3 hours passed, you will not know how time flies. Suddenly you realize, oh God, it is already 8 o'clock, I have to run, I have so much of work. Otherwise, if you are sitting with somebody with whom you don't feel comfortable or with whom you don't feel relaxed, every 5 minutes what you will do? You will see the watch and you will say, what is happening, whether my watch stopped or not? Don't you have any other work? If the number of thoughts are more, it is hell. If number of thoughts are less, you are in heaven. Be very clear, if number of thoughts are more, chronologically same time, but psychologically you feel time is more. Because you give more attention here, you think you have more thoughts here, you think this space is more than neutral space. The breathing space, breathing time is more than the neutral space. Please understand, because you think you are having more thoughts, because you think you are interested in thinking, because you believe you are interested in thinking, because you give more emphasis on your identity, you may think the incoming breath time and the outgoing breath time is more than the neutral space, but in reality it is not. It is just psychological game. The kshana of this and kshana of this is one and the same. Kshana of this, kshana of this time, the way in which your mind moves. Because you are having too many number of thoughts, you think this space is more. But in reality, this space is not more. One more thing, how you miss the depth of this space. Here also you have identity, means incoming breath space. Outgoing breath. Here also you have identity. Here also you have identity. Identity is a space which you know. Here you don't have identity. The big problem is, when there is an identity, you are able to connect and see all the identities. You connect and see. Let me be very clear. Let me give you in this way. This is the incoming breath. This is the outgoing. This is again incoming. This is NS, neutral space. This is neutral space. Because here your identity exists, is again outgoing. It's again outgoing. NS, neutral space, neutral space. Here your identity exists. Here also your identity exists. Your identity exists in this space. Constantly you can connect and see you are connected. But in this gap, because your identity doesn't exist, you don't connect the gaps and see. For example, the thought which came to you 10 minutes ago, the thought which came to you 10 years ago, thought which came to you 20 years ago, they are independent, unclutched, separate thoughts. But thoughts have got identity. Because they have identity, you connect them and see the thought which happened 10 minutes ago is number 1. Thought which happened 1 year ago, number 2. Thought which happened 10 years ago is number 3. You can connect all of them because they have identity. But the gap which happened 10 minutes ago, the gap which happened 1 year ago, the gap which happened 10 years ago, you don't connect them and see that you are constantly experiencing gaps. If I were to put it in a little deeper way, little subtle way, the suffering, the depression which you had 10 years ago, the depression which you suffered 7 years ago, the depression which you suffered 3 years ago, the depression which you had yesterday, all of them are independent, individual, unconnected thoughts. But because they are thoughts, you start connecting all of them and create the shaft of depression. You have an idea that your life is depression. For last 10 years, I am suffering with depression, Swamiji. You create a big shaft. You take all these unconnected, unclutched pieces. Each bit is an unclutched bit. You just take all the unclutched bits. You connect all the shaft and create a shaft. Be very clear. The pain which you had 10 years ago, the pain which you had 9 years ago, the pain which you experienced 7 years ago, the pain which you experienced 3 years ago, the pain which you experienced yesterday, all of them are unconnected, independent, individual thoughts. But you connect all these thoughts and create a shaft, and you start thinking, you start believing life is pain. Or the joy which you experienced 10 years ago, the joy which you experienced 9 years ago, the joy which you experienced 3 years ago, the joy which you experienced 1 year ago, all of them are independent, individual, unconnected thoughts. Now, you connect all those thoughts and create a shaft of joy. In life, the only thing which you do is either creating the shaft of pain or creating the shaft of joy. When it comes to the shaft of pain, you try to break it. When it comes to the shaft of joy, you try to extend it. But you don't understand. Neither you can extend a shaft, nor you can break the shaft, because the shaft doesn't exist. The shaft is not there. The very shaft is your imagination, imaginary connection. Let you understand, this connection is just imaginary. Whether you want or not, every moment there is an unclutched space. You are unclutched. You are unconnected. You are unclutched shaft. But just because of your imagination or fear of losing identity, you create constant connection to maintain your identity. This identity or this connection is imaginary. For example, if it is a pain shaft, 10 years ago pain experience, 1 year ago the pain experience, 10 minutes ago the pain experience. You connect all of them in your mind through imagination and create a pain shaft. If it is a bliss or joy shaft, the joy happened 10 years ago, the joy happened 1 year ago, the joy happened 10 minutes ago. You connect them through imagination and create joy shaft. If it is a pain shaft, you try to break it. If it is a joy shaft, you try to increase it. You don't understand, you can neither break the shaft nor elongate the shaft because this shaft doesn't exist. Whether you see it or not, it is pure imaginary shaft. It is pure imaginary shaft. One more thing, just sit for 5 minutes and write whatever you are thinking or whatever comes without editing. Be very clear, it is just for you, not to show to anybody else. Don't show to anybody else, they will become mad. Understand? Whether it is a pain shaft or bliss shaft, whether it is pain shaft or joy shaft, you can neither break it nor elongate it because the shaft doesn't exist. Just write 10 minutes, whatever comes in your mind, do not edit, do not touch it, just write whatever comes. Read, you will suddenly realize all your thoughts are unconnected, irresponsible, and completely unclutched, illogical, independent thoughts. Be very clear, your first thought and the second thought is no way connected. There is no logical connection. There is no responsible connection. There is no dependency on the first thought and the second thought. If you just write whatever comes in your mind for 10 minutes and try to read that paper, suddenly you will realize that what is happening with me. For example, if you see a dog in the street, suddenly you get the same fear which you had when you were a young boy, when you were a small child, and when you see the dogs, what the fear you get, the same fear. Next moment you start thinking about your childhood and the dogs about which you are afraid, the childhood. Third, you start thinking about childhood days. Then you start remembering the teacher under whom you studied. Then you start remembering the place where your teacher had his house. Logically, the dog which you saw on the street and your teacher, both of them are not connected. Of course, both of them have barked at you, that is different. But logically, they are not connected. But see from where your mind starts and where it goes. If you just write down, pen down whatever you think for 10 minutes without editing, read that paper, suddenly you will realize all your thoughts are unconnected, independent, illogical, irresponsible, completely unclutched thoughts. They have no connection. They have no connection. Logically, they are not connected at all. Logically, they are not connected at all. By your very nature, you are unclutched. The whole social training is to make you believe you have continuity of thoughts. Society constantly trains you to catch either the shaft of pain or the shaft of pleasure. If you start believing the shaft of pain, you will spend your whole life trying to break that shaft and waste it. If you start believing in the shaft of pleasure, you will spend your whole life trying to elongate that shaft and destroy your life. The one and only Maya is believing that your thoughts are connected. That is the only Maya. Let me be very clear and honest. Whatever spiritual techniques you practice, whatever meditations techniques or anything you practice, to elongate this shaft, you will never be successful. I have seen people trying to do concentration. People trying to do concentration. I have seen people seriously practicing Rama Krishna, Rama Krishna, Rama Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. I myself have practiced for years. Let me tell you honestly, I used to do japa here, 108 beats, one mala, this hand, 108 beats, one mala. Once I finish this one mala, I will move one bead in this hand. So by the time I finish this hand, this mala, 108 into 108. Whole day constantly I will be repeating. Constantly I will be repeating. I had only one effect, depression. Please let me be, please understand, I am saying the truth. I did what all need not be done. So I have right to tell you what can be done, what needs to be done. I have lived or I have done things which is not necessary. That is why I say, I have right to say what is necessary. Whole day and night, actually after some time, even when I am sleeping, I am able to rotate that mala. Even if I am sleeping, one part of my mind is constantly moving that beats. By constantly repeating, you are trying to create a shaft. Suddenly entered into some new thing. You must have felt a joy by singing Rama, Krishna or Govinda or Shiva or some name. You must have felt some ecstasy. You are trying to reproduce that ecstasy by repeating that mantra, then whole thing is gone. How a person feels really happy, blissful when he dates, and he tries to reproduce that experience by marrying. Now you will understand. Now you understand what I mean. The same thing. Exactly same thing. See, you feel the joy when you are dating because you experience the gap. You experience the unclutchedness. You feel the joy when you are singing that name or chanting some mantra at some moment because you relax in that unclutched space. Not because you are repeating, but because of the unclutched space. Suddenly somehow you fall on that NS, neutral space. That is the reason you experience joy. When you try to make it as ritual, all you will have is depression. Let me be clear, little more. How many years you practice, you can never concentrate your mind. Let me be open and clear. I tried my best, spent years, I am not able to concentrate. I am not able to concentrate. Only two things. Either you suffer with the shaft and die, or you realize that you are unclutched by very nature. The shaft doesn't exist by very nature. There is only two choices. No other choice. You can neither elongate that shaft nor break that shaft because the shaft doesn't exist. The connection itself is imaginary. How will you fight with the imaginary enemy? If you have the shaft, you can elongate or break. But the shaft doesn't exist. Shaft is purely your belief. The pain which you had 9 years ago, the pain which you had 10 years ago, the pain which you had 20 years ago are independent, separate incidents. When you start connecting them and try to create a logic, try to create an understanding, then you create the shaft, life is pain. When you try to generalize your experiences, when you try to dovehole your experiences, you create a shaft of pain or joy. The moment you start believing in the shaft of pain or in the shaft of joy, you created hell for yourself. Then you will be behind that shaft, either elongating it or breaking it. Your whole life is nothing but playing with the shaft which doesn't exist. That is what Shankara means when he says life is Maya. Maya means Yama iti Maya. You are fighting with thing which doesn't exist. Yama means which doesn't exist. You are just fighting with imaginary shaft. You are trying to break or elongate the shaft which does not exist. Let me be very clear. Whatever techniques you practice to break this shaft, without understanding that shaft doesn't exist, you will never be successful. With this single understanding, you don't need any technique. This very understanding is a technique. You are liberated. This very understanding, any simple technique can liberate you. Without this understanding, no technique can help you. I have seen people chanting Rama, Krishna, Govinda, anything for years. Not years, decades. All they had is only decaying, nothing else. Nothing else. See the people who chant Sahasranama? Vishwam Vishnur Vasatkara Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat Prabhu. After a few minutes they will be seeing the number. Whether they come to 200 or 300. Where they are standing. Honestly, tell me, is there any single person who doesn't see number when he chants Sahasranama? I can't believe. I know, because I have done it. I am talking the insider's view. It's not that I have not done it. I am speaking the insider's view. And nothing can be done. A small story. One young novice, brahmachari, initiate, young guy, he goes to an old monk and asks, Master, how can I control negative thoughts? How to get rid of these lustful thoughts? How long it takes to get rid of these lustful thoughts? The old monk said, how long? I don't know how long it takes, but not surely till 90. So be very clear. Be very clear. How long it takes, I don't know. But even if you practice 90 years, you cannot concentrate. You cannot concentrate. No technique will help you unless you have this understanding. With this understanding, no need for any other technique. Even if you practice a simple thing with this understanding of lifting the hand or talking to somebody, sitting simply, you are liberated. This understanding is the key sutra, or this understanding is the base for the whole spiritual journey. All your thoughts are completely unconnected, independent, illogical and irresponsible. Above all, unclutched. When you try to believe, if you just 10 minutes write, you will understand. Thoughts are completely mixed. Sometime good, sometime bad, sometime this, sometime that. What is happening you don't know. You can always see, even in the peak of joyful moment, there will be one negative thought. And you try to think, no, I should not think about this all this time. All these things in this time, let me keep quiet. Or when the time of deep negative problem, suddenly you will have one positive thought. Even at the deep suffering, you will have some thoughts positive. Even in the worst suffering, you will have some unconnected joyful thought. Even in the peak joy, you will have some unconnected negative thought. By your very nature, you are unconnected. You are unclutched. When you start believing, you are clutched by your imaginations. When you start believing, you are connected. You start connecting the thought which happened to you 10 years ago, thought which happened to you 7 years ago, thought which happened to you 3 years ago, and try to create a shaft. You create an idea about yourself. You start creating an idea about yourself. You start creating an identity. The moment you create an identity, you have created hell for you. Either you will try to work constantly to improve that identity. If you think that identity is painful, you will constantly trying to improve it. Or if you think that identity is beautiful, you will constantly work to elongate. The moment you try to create an identity, pain shaft or bliss shaft, you have created a hell for you. You can neither elongate the shaft nor break the shaft because the shaft doesn't exist. The shaft doesn't exist. Every moment you spend in trying to improve your personality, all self-development is pure bullshit. Your self cannot be developed. You are completely unclutched. You may be given an idea, your self is getting developed. Let you be very clear. You may be given an idea, you see, because you carry one thought that your self is too bad, I can just take away that understanding and give you one more understanding that your self is beautiful. You are developed. I always tell people come and ask me, Swamiji, how do you heal us? You take away so many negativities, so many karmas. How do you heal us? Please tell us, Swamiji. Now I tell you clearly the whole business secret. Let you all be very clear. The very first thought that you have, body itself is an illusion. When you come with that illusion that you have some pain, some disease, I just take away that illusion and give you one more illusion, you are healed, that's all. I just take away the illusion that you have disease and give you the another one illusion that you are healed. You are so strong with the first illusion, naturally you catch the second illusion and become all right, that's all. Nothing else. The first thing that you have a body itself is an illusion. That's the first shaft which you create and suffer. Now, neither I break that shaft nor I elongate that shaft because it cannot be done. I just add one more shaft. You are healed. And now you struggle with this shaft. You leave that shaft and you catch hold of this shaft. Of course, this little better shaft, you think. You are made to believe that this shaft is little better shaft. One guy says, I was rich, I was poor. I feel richness is better. Same way, you are healthy and you suffered with the disease. You believe the health shaft is much better. So I just take that shaft away from your space and insert this shaft. That's all, nothing else. Idea about yourself straight away creates your body. Recently I read a beautiful book, Dr. Bruce Lipton, Biology of Belief. His book called Biology of Belief. He says clearly, your body is not controlled by cells or tissues as you are made to believe. Your body is controlled by your positive or negative emotions and your belief. Be very clear. He says very clearly, your body is created and controlled by your thoughts, not by cells or tissues. Here, if you believe that you have disease, you create disease body. When you are made to believe you are healed, you start creating the health. It is purely the shaft with which you are playing, that's all. Nothing else. Nothing else is there. You play with that shaft, now you play with this shaft. That is why I tell you, in every gap you create your body. In every gap, in every neutral space you create new body. But if you again and again bring your old identity, you will be again creating the same old body. Biology says once in every 6 months you have a new liver. Not even a single cell or atom of the old liver exists in you now. Once in every 21 days your whole intestine is new. Your whole body is replaced within 1 year. Last year, the same date, the body which you had, today you don't even have a single cell from that body. It is completely new. Then why are we carrying the diseases, Swamiji? When you believe that you are same person, when you believe you have identity, when you bring the same old identity by your faith, by your imagination, by your connection, by creating shaft, you bring the same body. You reproduce the same body which you had 1 year ago. Constantly you are creating your body. If you create the same personality by connecting and creating a shaft, you will create the same body. If you start experiencing the truth by your very nature, you are illogical, irresponsible, independent, unconnected, unclutched thoughts, you will start creating a new, alive, fresh body like a child. Kids are so alive because every moment they create a new body. They are not stuck with a shaft. They don't have any idea about themselves. That is the reason, even yesterday if you fought with them, today they will be smiling at you. They will be laughing. They don't carry records. They don't carry identity. They don't have shaft. They do not connect with yesterday's fight and day before yesterday's fight and the fight which happened 1 month ago. They are free from the shaft. Now, Shiva says very clearly, when the energy of breath should neither move out nor enter, means neither incoming nor outgoing. When the center unfolds by the dissolution of thoughts, when the neutral space is happening in you, be unclutched. Realize you are already unclutched. This thought and that thought doesn't have logical connection. Except your belief that you are continuously thinking, nothing else is enemy for you. People come and ask me, Swamiji, how to break my habits? Be very clear. 2 days ago you were smoking, 10 years ago you were smoking, or 20 years ago you were smoking. All these 3 incidents are completely independent. They are not connected. Mentally, when you start connecting, when you start believing you have the habit of smoking and you are addicted to it, this belief creates a shaft. Now you start fighting with that shaft which doesn't exist. Understand this one truth. The shaft which doesn't exist you create. You connect the smoking of 10 years ago, which is smoked 9 years ago, and the smoking which you did 3 years ago, and the smoking which you did yesterday. Connect and create a thought, belief that you have the smoking habit and you are addicted to it. Then you start fighting with it. If you believe it is joyful experience, you continue to smoke more and more. If you believe it's a painful experience, you start fighting with that shaft. But both the way, you can neither elongate joy by smoking. One more example. Even if you believe the smoking is joyful, try to smoke and see. When you are exactly smoking itself, it is not joyful. You can see in your life. The definition for addiction is, if you don't do, you will feel terribly that you are missing. If you do, you won't feel the joy. If you do it, it will not be great, so. If you don't, you will feel that you are missing it. If you start believing that smoking is joy, if you don't do, you will miss. When you do it, exactly when you are doing, that moment, see what is happening in your inner space. You are not enjoying, you are just trying to escape from some thoughts. You are just running. You are restless, that's all. You are not relaxing. You are just believing that smoking is joyful. Even if you don't feel joyful when you are smoking, you try to squeeze joy out of it. You try to squeeze joy out of it. See, deeply screen your life. Whatever you think as joy, even when you don't feel joy, whether it is sex or greed or taste, any pleasure, even if you don't feel the same joy, you try to squeeze joy out of it. You try to console yourself. No, this is joy. What else is joy? You try to cover the frustration by your belief that it is joy. When you decide, when you start believing it is joy, even if it is not giving you the joy, you force yourself to believe it is joy. You try to cover the frustration, it is joy. You try to cover the frustration that it is not joy, you are not ready to believe, you try to believe it is joy. Same way, if you decide something is pain, if you start believing something is pain, even if it is not painful, you try to force yourself, you try to imagine, you convince yourself it is pain and continue to struggle. Whether the habit of addiction or the concepts of joy, concepts of pain, everything is purely unconnected, unclutched, illogical thoughts. You connect them. Now you have a tremendous fear. If this is true, how can I live? Because the whole life is mess now. Some thoughts are coming and some thoughts are going. Please be very clear. Because you believe some thoughts are connected and they are joy, you start giving life only to those thoughts. If you believe some thoughts are painful, you try to take energy away from that thoughts. You are not able to live your whole life. You are choosing. You are breaking your life. You are choosing. If you understand, you are unclutched. You are completely independent, illogical, unconnected, unclutched thoughts. Suddenly you will feel deep integrity in yourself. Suddenly you will feel that you are elevated to a different plane. Suddenly you will feel a discipline happening in you which doesn't need to be monitored. You don't need monitor. You don't need any balancing. You are flowing in a totally different way. As on now, you are afraid. As on now, you are afraid. If this is true, that I am unclutched, unconnected, then what for I am running? Then where am I running? What for I am going? What for I am living? What is exactly happening? Then how will I live my life? The tremendous fear rises in you. You start thinking, if I am unclutched, how will I go back and do my work? How will I go back and live my life? Somebody may take away my property. Physically, I may be swindled. And mentally, I may lose my balance. I may start doing anything and everything. Because I am unclutched, unconnected. Be very clear. This is the fear created by your mind. Your mind never allows you to trust yourself. The moment you trust the gap, neutral space, you will lose trust on your mind. You will lose your respect on the shaft. Either you should have trust on the shaft or the trust on the neutral space. The neutral space and the shaft both are having influence over you. If you trust the neutral space, you won't be able to trust the shaft. If you trust the shaft, you won't be able to trust the neutral space. From the young age, your school, college, university, office, everybody has taught you to trust the shaft and to develop the shaft, work on the shaft, self-development. Now you know the meaning of the self-development. Now you know the meaning of the self-development. Constantly you are taught to work on yourself, which doesn't exist. Even if you try to develop yourself, attend thousands of seminars, unless you understand this truth, yourself can never be developed. Yourself can never be developed. You cannot develop the shaft because it doesn't exist. How can you develop a shaft which doesn't exist? It is purely your imagination. Somebody asked me, then how do we feel so good about when we go for the self-development courses, Swamiji? You have the idea that you have too much of, you have low self-esteem, and they just take away those words and give you new words. Just the feel-good factor, nothing else. Just feel-good factor, nothing else. Somebody goes to Raman Maharshi, Bhagavan, I am so happy to see this Arunachala. I am in heaven. The moment I see this Arunachala, this whole beautiful energy field and space, Bhagavan says, be here for 3 days, everything will become all right. That is what? All feel-good factor, nothing else. Do not be cheated by the feel-good factor. Do not be cheated by the feel-good factor. Let you understand the truth, the reality as it is. By your very nature, you are unclutched, unconnected, irresponsible, independent thoughts. When you understand this, suddenly you will see witnessing consciousness is raising in you. When you understand, you are neither this space nor this space. When you understand, you are neither the incoming breath or outgoing breath. When you understand, you are neither breathing space nor the neutral space, you realize you are this paper on which both are written. When you understand, you are neither the pain shaft nor the bliss shaft, suddenly you realize you are the witnessing consciousness in which the whole thing is going on. When you understand, you are neither this shaft nor that shaft, suddenly you wake up to the reality, on you all these shafts are drawn. You realize you are not the movie, you are the screen on which the movie is going on. If you are engrossed, if you are completely lost in the movie, you forget the screen. When you open up, when you wake up, you realize you are not movie, you are the screen on which this movie is getting played. Your mind will never allow you to believe that you are unclutched, because two things. Whatever you have about your identity, your outer world, your wealth, relationship, everything is based on the idea you are connected thoughts. You are an identity, your identity. If you lose that, if you are relaxing from that identity, You may lose all those things. Who knows? That fear, first thing. Next thing, your morality, your idea about yourself. To believe that you are unclutched. Mind will never let you believe that you are unclutched. Be very clear. As long as your mind doesn't let you trust you are unclutched, it can control you. It can play its game on you. The moment you trust yourself, trust your consciousness, the mind cannot control you, it cannot play its role on you. One important thing, even you can see in your profession, the staff member who wants to exploit you, first thing he will do is, he will make you believe that you can't run your business without him. First thing he will give you the impression, you cannot survive without him. That's the first thing. Then he can go on exploiting you. He can play all his games. You can't do anything about it. The moment you start believing you cannot survive without him, you will put up with him. Same way, first thing mind does to you is, it convinces you, you cannot be alive without it. First thing, mind makes you trust that you cannot survive without it. The moment it convinces you that you cannot survive without it, gone. You have created your hell. The moment it convinces you, then nothing needs to be done. Then you will never try to drop the mind. You will never try to drop the mind. You are caught with the fear. You are gone. You are over. Now also, your mind will not let you believe so easily that you are unclutched. It will try to bring all possible logic. And if it can't bring any logic, the tremendous fear. What will happen to my property? What will happen to my personality? What will happen to this and what will happen to that? Be very clear, nothing will happen. Everything will go much better way. Much more smoothly. Just understand this one simple example and then you will be able to understand what I mean by the fear of mind. Understand this one simple example. In North India, in the forest, hunters will put like this stick and the rope to catch the birds, to catch the parrots. In the forest, they will just hang like this stick between the two trees to catch the birds, to catch the parrots. Actually, what will happen, when this is hanging like this, the parrot will come and sit here. The moment parrot sits, because of the parrot's weight, what will happen? It will just turn topsy-turvy. The moment it becomes topsy-turvy, the parrot will start thinking, oh, if I leave, I will die, and it will hang on to that stick. The moment it turns, it will feel totally shaken and just catch hold of that stick. It will hold on to that stick and hang on to that stick. It will think, if I leave my feet, if I let go, what will happen? I will fall and die because it is hanging upside down. The moment it sits here, the moment it holds, naturally the stick will become like this because of the weight. Now, because he thinks, if I let go, I will fall and die, hurt myself, he will just catch the stick tightly and hang on to it. Slowly the hunter will come after 4 or 5 hours, he will just catch that parrot and put in the cage and go. The foolish parrot, he doesn't know. If he just relaxes, he can simply fly and be liberated. He doesn't know. He can just open up and be liberated. Same way, you do not know if you just leave the mind, this moment you can become Paramahamsa. This moment you can be liberated. This moment you can start flying. The same fear which parrot has got, you are having. Your fear and the parrot's fear is one and the same. How? The parrot is believing that he can't let go. If he relaxes, he will die. Same way, you hold your mind and you feel, I can't let go. If I start trusting that I am unconnected, unclutched, independent, illogical thoughts, immediately you have that fear. What will happen to my identity which I am showing to the outer world? What will happen to the identity which I am showing to myself? The tremendous fear which that parrot is experiencing. Same fear, nothing else. One important thing, out of fear, that parrot is not flying, holding on to the stick. What is happening? Slowly the hunter will come, take the parrot away and put it in the cage. Neither the parrot is having the freedom, nor it is having the stick. Same way, Yama will come and he will just remove you from your identity. Neither you will be a Paramahamsa, liberated soul, nor you will be able to hold on to the identity which you are having. Neither you will have the freedom, nor you will have the stick which you are holding. Be very clear, the hunter is Yama. He will come. When the hunter comes, the parrot will lose the freedom which he was having and the stick which he is holding now. He will lose both. Same way, when Yama comes, you will lose the freedom which you are having, which you had, the inner space or the consciousness, and the identity which you are holding now tightly. Both will be lost. Let you be very clear, just the same fear of the parrot you are having and holding on to your identity and hanging. This moment, trust yourself, do not bother, you will never have any problem. Just trust yourself and let go. Your identity, you will become Paramahamsa, liberated. All you need to do, trust you are unclutched. Even if you don't trust, that is the truth. Even if you don't trust, that is the truth. But you have vested interest about the false. If you trust that you are unclutched, it is too much. Your vested interests are getting shaken. Let you be very clear, even if you try to avoid the truth because of your vested interests, you cannot do anything. The hunter will come today or tomorrow, just pick up an NK, put you in the cage. The same situation, exactly you are in the same situation as the parrot is. Just your parrot hanging with the identity, nothing else. You are so seriously believing that if you let go, you will fall and hurt yourself or die. You are holding on to your identity. Let me tell you, if you let go, the parrot relaxes. 1 or 2 moments he may flutter to balance. 1 or 2 moments he may have to balance himself, but he will never fall and die. Let you be very clear, let go, you will never fall and die, you will only become Paramahamsa. You will just become Paramahamsa. All you need is trust yourself and let go. You will never mess up anything, you will never miss anything. Because you never tried even once. You never had anybody to tell you. Let me be honest, I did. I relaxed. I never missed anything. I never missed anything. You never had anybody around you. Relax, let go. You never had any courageous words. You never had anybody to tell you, relax, I was in that space, I know what will happen, you will never fall and die, you will never hurt yourself. Just all you need to do is let go, you will beautifully start flying. You will become Paramahamsa. Society can never accept, it cannot tolerate, that is why it never gives you the courage. You cannot be enslaved, you cannot be manipulated, you cannot be exploited if you are a Paramahamsa. If you are in their cage, they can play with you. They can make you repeat all the words what they want. They can feed you when they want, and they can make you fly as they want. They can make you sit on their shoulder. You will be utility, you will be useful. You will be just an utility. That is why you are never given the confidence you are Paramahamsa. You are Paramahamsa. Just relax. You may have 1000 fears rising in you about losing your identity. All those fears are just these parrot fears. Fears of this parrot. Even if the parrot falls for 2-3 feet and then balances, it is worth risk. It is worth risk. It is worthy risk. Understand? Even if you fall for a few minutes, if you are not able to balance for a few minutes, nothing wrong. It is worthy risk. It is worthy risk. Let go and be liberated. Let you become Paramahamsas. Thank you. It is time to enter into the technique. It is not even a technique, to tell you honestly. It is entering into the space, because no technique will help you. It is not even a technique. Now we are going to enter into that space. Now we are just going to realize what we understood. Just the same space in which Shiva exists. Shiva gives a beautiful technique in the sutra to experience that space of be unclutched. The whole main message for this whole spring tour is this: be unclutched. This Dhyanasparana program is also just based on this one truth: be unclutched. Because unless you experience this, no technique can help you. Once you experience this space, no technique is necessary. Now, we will enter into, Shiva is explaining 5 different methods to live in that space. Now, today we will start the first, how to be in that space. All the next 5 techniques are directly connected only to this truth. Of course, any technique has to be connected with this truth only. This is the ultimate. Nothing to make you, to give you that space, give you the experience, give you that fullness. Shiva gives you beautiful truth that Krishna, please wait for a moment. Let me finish this and then you can start giving. Actually, to tell you honestly, and one more thing I want to tell you, this whole thing is the wisdom of Shiva. Never even mistake its mind. Let me offer the whole thing humbly at his feet. The great master landed on the planet Earth. Never ever think it's mine or anything. If at all you feel grateful for knowing this truth, be grateful to Shiva. It is his wisdom, his thing. Let me be very clear. When I myself experienced this, so much of gratitude I felt. And I felt, how could he think so deeply and give solution exactly for modern man? See, whatever you think as your problem, whether physical health, straight away this technology can solve. The moment you experience this space, straight away physical healing starts happening. Mental health, all your irritation, addiction, or ill feeling, depression will disappear the moment you experience this technology. The moment you experience this space, it will disappear, because the depression which happened 1 month ago, depression happened 1 year ago, depression happened 3 years ago, are unconnected, unclutched. The problem is when you start believing that you had depression, same depression you are having continuously. That is when you start fighting with it. If you know it is unclutched, independent, separate, you don't think enemy is a huge guy who is sitting in front of you. You don't feel like fighting. His head is separate, his leg is separate, his body is separate. You don't think of fighting with him. Only when you imagine you have a huge problem in front of you, you start fighting and getting into more trouble. You are fighting with depression is the root cause for your depression. Let you be very clear. Same way, fear. You are fighting with fear is the base cause for fear. In Ramayana there is a beautiful story. Whoever stands in front of Vali and fights with Vali, half of their power will go away to Vali. Same way, whoever stands in front of the shaft and starts fighting with the shaft, half of their power will go away to that shaft. Vali and shaft are one and the same. You will never win. You will never win. You create the shaft because you fight with the shaft. You create the whole thing because you fight with the whole thing. Whether it is physical healing, the moment you experience this space, simply the healing starts. Because the inner healing starts happening. The moment inner healing starts, physically also you are healed. Next, your depression, mental problems, your depression. This technology, this space is the best space to heal the depression. And same way, your addictions, all your addiction, the attitude towards addiction itself will disappear. You will even forget the idea that it is joy. Then naturally, where is the question of going and running behind that habit? Simply it disappears. See, habit is a beautiful word. If you remove H, a bit will remain. If you remove A, bit will remain. If you remove B, it will remain. Only when you remove the I, which is shaft, it will die. Only when you remove the I, only when you throw the I away, it will die. It will disappear. And all your problems about guilt, this one space is enough. You will lose completely the idea about guilt. Because the guilt of yesterday, the guilt which happened 1 month ago, and the guilt which happened 1 year ago, they are unconnected, unclutched, independent thoughts. When you connect and create, only you give power to it, which they themselves don't have. In India, every area suddenly one rowdy will raise. Once in a year, new rowdies will come. If you are living in a metropolitan city, you know, the dadas. One dada dies, immediately one dada dies or he goes to the jail, next dada will come up. That local dada, what is the word here they call? Gangsters. Gangster. Either they will die in the fight among themselves or they will go away to jail. Then the next person will raise. See, first day when the gangster comes out, he himself will have a little fear. But the moment people know that he is a dada, rowdy, they will start obeying him. When everybody obeys him, first he himself will not have confidence about himself. Then when he sees everybody obeys him, then he will get the confidence. Yes, now I can take these guys to task. His whole body language will be transformed. Same way, when mind comes to attack you, it will not have enough confidence. When you are afraid of it, when you are caught by it, then it gets the confidence. You give confidence to mind to attack you. Once you show your fear, once you show that you are very fragile, that's enough for mind. Now you are caught. Now he gets a seat. And ultimately, even for spiritual growth, this is the ultimate space in which you can experience the pure witnessing consciousness. When you understand you are unconnected, illogical, irresponsible, unclutched thoughts, you realize you are the space in which the thought and the gap is happening. You are the space in which the incoming breath and the outgoing breath and the neutral space happening. You are just beyond all these three. You are just beyond all these three. This neutral space is neutral space only as long as you have the incoming and outgoing breath. When that is diffused, it can't be called anymore as neutral space, because it is the nature. It is your original state. That is what I call eternal consciousness, Shiva consciousness. Now it is time. Let you understand and liberate yourself. Let you become Paramahamsas. Especially the moment you understand this truth, the moment you relax, the inner healing or the bliss which comes out, the freedom which you feel, once you start feeling that freedom, that is enough, will give you tremendous confidence and courage to fly, to spread your wings in the sky. You will see your being just becomes Paramahamsa in Mahakasha, in Mahakasha, in the pure cosmic consciousness. Let's enter into the Shiva consciousness. Please close your eyes, sit straight. Now you can have your ribbons. Next 5 days, we will be doing 5 different methods given by Shiva to experience this Shiva consciousness. And in the Dhyanasparana program also, we will be working on this same be unclutched, and 5 different intense techniques where you go into the details, you go deep into the experience of a liberated inner space or being unclutched. One more thing now, the technique which you are practicing, once you have that experience, after that you don't even need to practice technique. Just remembering this experience is enough. You will be again in that same space. Only in the initial level you need to relax. Just like a parrot taking off. Once you take off, you don't need to bother about anything. Please close your eyes and tie the ribbon. Sit straight. First few moments, inhale. and exhale as slowly as possible, as deeply as possible. Slowly start witnessing only the incoming breath. Do not bother about any other movements or neutral space. Just witness only the incoming breath. Be witness, be aware of incoming breath. Slowly start witnessing only the outgoing breath. Now forget about the incoming breath. Just witness, be aware of outgoing breath. Now slowly, very slowly, be aware of both the neutral spaces when your incoming breath takes turn as outgoing breath, when your outgoing breath takes turn as incoming breath, be aware, be witness of both neutral spaces. Intensely be aware of both the neutral spaces. Be aware of neutral spaces, on, incoming and outgoing breath. Just be aware of incoming breath, neutral space, outgoing breath, and neutral space. unclutched. Whatever thought comes in your mind, do not connect. Do not even think that you are thinking constantly. Even that idea comes because you connect your thoughts. They are just completely independent thoughts. Do not connect them and create one more thinking. You are thinking. Let independent bubbles rise and fall. Let independent thoughts come and go. Do not connect them and think you are thinking. Be unclutched. If they come, let them come. If they go, let them go. Do not think you are thinking. Every thought is independent, illogical, separate thoughts. Do not connect them and think you are thinking. Your idea that you are thinking is a lie. Relax from your mind. Let go. Be liberated. Be unclutched. Do not even try to be unclutched. If you are having thoughts, let them come, let them go. Just understand they are unclutched. They are independent, individual thoughts. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Relax. You can open your eyes. Try to be in that same space. Just see, even these thoughts are completely unclutched. Your inner space is beautiful and purely unclutched. Now, when you come back to your identity, let you understand one more important truth. Now you know this is your identity from which you fly. Once you learnt flying, then it is no more a trap. You can just come and sit in this and swing. It can become swing for you. Same way, once you know that you are unclutched, your identity is no more a trap for you, it can just become swing for you. When you come back to your identity, just be very clear, you are unclutched. That space will give you the tremendous freedom that your identity is no more a trap on which you are hanging, it is just a swing on which you are swinging. Now, whether you are flying as Paramahamsa or playing with your identity, you are liberated. Let you be liberated and celebrate the great Mahashivaratri with this great liberation from Shiva himself.